I've been having a little bit of difficulty with my Famag Spiral Mixer. This stand mixer is so heavy. It's hard for me to get from the cart that I currently have onto the counter. The cart's too short for me to work on it from the cart. I needed another solution. I was in Restaurant Depot the other day and I found this cart that serves two purposes that actually I can't wait to use it because it's absolutely fantastic. Join me. I'm finally unveiling the new cart for the Famag Spiral Stand Mixer. So this is my current setup, and although this is a pretty nice cart, it has some issues with this big, huge stand mixer. So this is our Famag Spiral Mixer, and it is a beast of a mixer. There's no like moving this around, having a good time like it is with general stand mixers. So you need a place for this thing to go. And I don't want to obviously use up my counter space on an everyday basis with a big, huge mixer like this. So Eric got me this cart and it's nice. The issue I have with it is, number one, it's not counter height. So if I do want to move it over to the counter, it's like lifting this sucker up to get it up on the counter. The second thing is this thing has like a little, the shelf that it's sitting on is down below this rail. So even to move it, I have to lift it up over this rail, and it's just way too much for me. I need a different solution. And we have that new solution in the house. So let's take a look at it. So now you guys kind of understand why that other cart wasn't working well for me. I needed a new solution. I really appreciate it. Santa brought me that cart and I will be using it for other purposes. But for this stand mixer, I needed something that was counter height and that would make it easy so I wouldn't actually have to move it onto the counter. I could use it right from the cart. So I sort of give you guys a sneak peek when we went to Restaurant Depot. Now it's time to open this baby up and see what I got, and also get the new stand mixer on it so we can get busy with it. So when you see this, you're going to be surprised. You're going to be like, what is that, right? But I will show you what this rack does. So 1, 2.
Cook, remove that box.
Woo! Ah! So this is oops, there's another tie on here. So let me get this one off of here without cutting this. So this is a bun rack, or also called a speed rack. And what I'm going to use it for is the Famag is going to go on here. There's a big, huge, like plastic cutting board looking thing. You could take this out and put a wood board in here. I'm going to leave this in here because I can take this out to sanitize it. Ooh. So the Famag is going to go on here. And you ask, what is a bun rack? Well, a bun rack holds sheet pans in here. So I had a few options. I could get a classic stainless steel work table that has like one shelf underneath. I could get some kind of cabinet, but I decided to get this. So this comes in a couple different names. Some people call it a speed rack. Some people call it a bun rack. Some people call it a sheet pan rack or just a pan rack. They're used in a restaurant as basically reconfigurable shelf, right? So in a restaurant, they would use full sheet pans that fit into large ovens, which would be the entire size of this for each sheet pan. home cooks, we tend to use these, what they call half sheet pans, which is a half of the size of a full sheet pan in the commercial industry. They use these too. A full sheet pan is just two of these pans together, and it actually fits in a big commercial oven. But so this is like half, and then the smaller ones we use is like a brownie pan, or in a toaster oven, we call those quarter sheet pans. So these are basically half sheet pans, and they will fit two of these in a shelf. So you would put them in here, and each shelf is going to hold two instead of one full sheet pan. So this has 8 racks in it, so it will hold 16 half sheet pans in here. What's great, you ask, why would a home cook want something like this? If you don't have a lot of counter space and you just have a small space to work, you can load this up with sheet pans. You can put your preps in here. You can put rising bread in here. You can put, whatever you're going to need, your spices on here for your cook. So say you're cooking Thanksgiving, you can have one sheet pan with your spices that you're going to use, one with your preps. You could be rising dough on here, and you can also use it when things come out of the oven. So if you have 2 casseroles coming out, you don't have a lot of counter space, you could put your casseroles on a sheet pan, throw them in here, allow them to cool. If you're baking cookies, you could wrap this up with your whole meal, right? They're a great way to allow things to cool. They're great. They're just fantastic to have. They love them in a commercial kitchen. And yeah, you need a kind of a larger home kitchen to have one of these. But if you have limited counter space and you have space to store one of these, you can rack up your whole meal and not take up your whole counter space, because you're storing all your ingredients on this thing. These are great. Something comes out of the oven, boom, comes onto here, right? Yeah, so say you're doing your holiday baking and you're gonna bake 5 different kinds of cookies. You can have your sheet pan out here on top. Of course, I'm gonna have a mixer on here, or you can prep your ingredients for each kind of cookie, put it on here, throw it into your speed rack or your sheet pan rack. You'll have all your preps for 5 different kinds of cookies. You have your mixer up here. So it's prep, boom, right? You can portion out your cookies and have them all on here ready to go in the oven.
Or you could put your mixer on your counter and then just use that as you're rolling out, right?
You could roll out, you could do anything on here, because this is like a prep table.
That's it, you can roll your dough on there.
But I could see if I'm making, a large batch of chocolate chip cookies, and I want to prep all the cookies and have them panned up so they're panned up and ready to go to the next. Because one trouble when I make cookies is you're bringing the hot pan out, you put the cookies onto a hot pan and you throw them in the oven. Now that screws you with your bake time, because the first batch, the pan isn't hot, and the second batch, it's hot and hot and hot, right? And the pan is at different temperatures. If you have 5 sheet pans in here, you make your cookie dough, you form your cookies, you put all your cookies out on here, and then you can go this batch into the oven when it's done, then the next batch into the oven, so you can time it right. The second batch isn't going on a hot pan. So that's fun. And it gives you the storage for all these things. So it's time to move the Famag on top of its new little home. So as you can see the height difference, this is exactly the height of our countertop. It basically will just slide right over to our counter if I wanted to move it. This is how low this is. And you say, oh, that's not that big a difference. But when you're trying to lug around like a 80-pound mixer, it's not quite that easy. So we're gonna move this onto the new cart, and we'll be back. So here we go. The Famag is up on the speed rack. This is how it looks here. We have our pans going on down here. This is perfect. It's the perfect,
well, it's perfect for you.
perfect height for me, countertop height. And this is fantastic. Perfect to add ingredients. You can even put like a small bin of flour. If you move these down, it'll give you more room. So you could store a couple bins of flour on here to use to make your bread. It's just accessible. Actually, I might do that. I might move my flour onto here from out of the pantry so I have it here and available. That sounds like a great idea. The Famag Spiral Mixer has a new home! Yay! I really like this. So I think we paid $245 for this. It was a little expensive, but I think it's worth it. This mixer deserves this.
It seems pretty sturdy. It's not rocking.
Yeah, it's really sturdy. It moves well. Even we have tile in here. It moves well on the tile. Looks great. So I'm going to work on some pizza recipes. I haven't been able to really put the Famag to the test totally because I just didn't really have a good way of moving it in and out of the kitchen. It's time to put this baby to work, right? So we're going to make some pizzas with this. We got the unikuru. We're going to be using that. Time to make some bread in this baby. I absolutely love this mixer and I'm excited to use it. If you like this video, if you want to join us on our journey into the spiral mixer world, right? Go ahead and hit that bell down below. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll get notified of our uploads. Also, hit me up in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Amy Learns to Cook. And also Pinterest and Twitter at Amy Learns to Cook. And on Instagram, I'm at Cooking with Amy. We got the Famag jumping off.